fancy seeing you here. Hey, you want to learn about GMOs? Come on, let me teach you about GMOs. Welcome back to another special episode of Dr. B. After 4 long years of off the air, we're back! And this time, I'm teaching you about GMOs. If you don't know what GMO stands for, it stands for Genetically Modified Organism, and they serve a wide variety of purposes, mostly in agriculture. Come on, let me take you on a journey about GMOs. All right, let's learn about GMOs. So, GMOs are technology developed by the agriculture industry that have become widely used in the last half-century. They serve a variety of purposes, including increased plant yield and decreased pesticide usage. One of the main uses of GM crops in the agriculture industry is the reduction of pesticide usage in consumer goods. GM crops naturally produce their own pesticides, which are much less harmful than the synthetic pesticides used in modern-day agriculture. Follow me once more, and let me tell you about herbicides. Now, GM crops are resistant to most types of herbicides, and in the beginning, this was a good thing because it allowed farmers to drastically reduce the amount of weeds and increase the amount of crops that they were able to grow. But in recent years, consumers have become very concerned about herbicides in their food. Now, herbicides are mainly used to kill plants. This is the obvious part. But in agriculture, they're mainly used to reduce the amount of weeds that take up valuable crop space and increase food production. But in recent years, herbicides have become stronger and stronger as a result of superweeds. Superweeds are weeds that are resistant to most herbicides, and this has caused concern among the general public about what kind of chemicals are in their food. Now, the USDA classifies most herbicides as a human carcinogen, which can be detrimental to human health and cause cancer. But herbicides have another extremely important use.
Did you know that fried potatoes causes cancer? Well, thanks to advance in modern technology, genetically modified potatoes have less carcinogen in them, which causes less risk of cancer when eating them. Another example are the opal apples. Normal apples have this chemical in them that causes them to brown over time. Opal apples have this chemical significantly reduced, which increases the food shelf life and allows you to eat them longer. However, one of the important parts about genetically modified plants is the increased yields. The yields of genetically modified plants are increased through herbicide resistance and insecticide resistance, while also requiring fewer resources to maintain. This increased yields of genetically modified plants also help out developing countries who require more food to sustain their population.
Now, according to Martina Newell-McGowan of the University of California, quote, GMOs are more thoroughly tested than any product produced in the history of agriculture. This shows that GMOs have been tested, and trillions of meals containing GMO products have been eaten by humans within the past decade. And in fact, GMO products can save lives, as it is possible to suppress the protein that can lead to deathly reaction in people with peanut allergies.
Fun fact, GMOs have been around for ages. As crazy as it sounds, a lot of what we eat actually is genetically modified. For example, a wild carrot looks like a potato. Look it up.
According to the Center for Food Safety, quote, each genetic insertion creates the added possibility that formerly non-toxic elements in the food could become toxic, end quote. And in fact, resistance to antibiotics, cancer, and suppressed immune function are among potential risks of genetic modification using viral DNA. Now guys, the World Food Program estimates that 821 million people in the world are chronically undernourished, and 1 in 9 people face hunger. Population growth, climate change, over-farming, and water shortages all contribute to food scarcity. And who's here to save the day? Just your friendly neighborhood GMO. GMOs can help address those problems with genetic engineering to improve crop yields, as we mentioned earlier, and help farmers grow food in drought regions or on depleted soil. GMO crops have, quote, raised the output of corn, cotton, and soy by 20 to 30%, allowing some people to survive who would not have without it. If it were more widely adopted around the world, the price of food would go lower and fewer people would die of hunger.
Fun fact, 60 to 70% of all processed food in the USA is genetically modified. And for Further than that, 93% of soy and 80% of corn in the US is genetically modified as well.
A joint commission of the World Health Organization and the Food and Agriculture Organization identified 2 potential unintended effects of genetic modification of food sources. 1. Higher levels of allergens in a host plant that contains known allergenic properties. And 2. New proteins created by the gene insertion that could cause allergic reactions. An example of this is with Starlink corn, which was genetically altered to be insect resistant, but there was several reported cases of allergic reactions in consumers. The reactions ranged from abdominal pain to diarrhea to skin rashes and even life-threatening pains.
Fun fact, GMOs aren't just in foods, they're also in everyday items. For example, toiletries, hand sanitizer, ink, gasoline. The list is extremely diverse and it's crazy as it sounds, but it's huge.
Are GMOs good or bad? It's really hard to say. GMOs are able to increase yields, reduce carbon emissions, and help end hunger. However, since it is a new process, we're not entirely sure the side effects and the results of using GMO and the use of herbicides. Anyways, thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.